A little over a month ago, I had the occasion to stop off at a restaurant, and I ordered some chicken wings so that I could meet up with another person for a late lunch meeting. As I was waiting on my wings to get ready, I was talking to the waitress, and I asked, "How is the restaurant business?" And she said, "It's not good at all." In fact, that day she was all excited because she had had 3 customers during the lunchtime. Now, I had showed up for a really late lunchtime, and so the lunch rush was already over. And typically that would be a fraction of a bad day. And yet she was excited because 3 customers had actually come to the restaurant that day to get food. As I was standing there contemplating what she was saying and waiting on my wings, my brain started spinning a million miles an hour. And almost immediately, I knew that in some way, if it was possible, that I needed to do something to help out with this situation, to do good. It was only a couple of seconds until an idea popped into my mind. And over the last month or so, I've been refining that thought, that challenge, something that I'm going to propose to you today, that I believe can make a real difference and help those who are struggling because of the lack of wages that they have in the restaurant business. I will tell you that this challenge that I'm going to place before you today almost didn't see the light of day. I was worried and am still concerned that people might misinterpret what this challenge is really all about. My concern is that people might think that it's politically motivated, or that it's self-serving in some way, or that it's just completely misguided altogether. And yet, our faith is not meant to be a bunch of ideas and beliefs that we store in our minds. Rather, it's supposed to be something that informs our way of thinking and motivates us to action. And so ultimately, what I share with you today may sound like a very simplistic idea of how you can make a difference, how we collectively can make a difference. And yet I trust that ultimately it is God's will and something that can make somebody's life better. Before I describe the challenge to you in detail, I first of all want to explain the Christian rationale for why we would do such a thing. The scriptures tell us over and over again that we are supposed to live lives that are righteous, that we live rightly, and we're especially supposed to do good and help other people, to extend love to other people around us. In Paul's letter to the church in Galatia, he really doesn't mince any words whatsoever in calling them out because they have changed the core of the gospel to be about God's grace and replaced it with a human understanding of the gospel. But at the very end of that letter, Paul describes, as all good teachers do, a way in which he can build up the church that's receiving his letter. The way in which they can encourage one another and make a difference in the world. If you have a Bible with you, turn to Galatians chapter 6. It's quite remarkable how often Paul refers to this word good or doing good in the first 10 verses of chapter 6 in Galatians. But I want us to focus on just a couple of the verses at the very end of that section. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. You notice what Paul says. He says that we're not supposed to grow weary in doing good. I don't know about you, but I've met a lot of weary people over the last number of weeks and months. You know, the weight of living life during a pandemic, and all of the other challenges that we face during this time can really take their toll. People struggling with anxiety and depression and stress. Schedules have been turned upside down. While most school districts at this point in the year have a plan for the fall, nobody really knows whether those plans will come to fruition because we don't know what's going to happen with COVID-19. Add on top of the stressors coming from the pandemic, the fact that we're in an election year and the struggle that's going on in our country over equality and justice, about treating each other with respect, about loving each other, about seeing where we may be able to do better, and very strong opinions related to all of those things can allow our minds to spin out of control. But Paul says, don't grow weary in doing good. In other words, don't give up. Do good and do as much of it as you can all the time. He mentions that whenever an opportunity arises, do good in that situation. In other words, we're supposed to look for opportunities to do good. When we have that conversation with somebody and we're alerted to the fact that we might be able to help them out, we're called to do what we can. When we notice injustice or brokenness or something that we can help fix, we're called to make a difference. And collectively, we can change the world as we do good, following God's direction. Notice also that Paul says that we're supposed to do good to all people, everyone, not just people that are like us, but people that may not look exactly like us or live where we live or experience the things that we experience. We're supposed to do good to everyone. So back to the chicken wings. As I was there waiting for my chicken wings that day, I overheard the waitress saying to a coworker that she's concerned about being able to make ends meet, and she was especially concerned about being able to provide for her son. And in that moment, I knew exactly what it was that could take place to make a practical difference. It's a challenge that I've named Do Good Tuesdays. I've even created a Facebook page for that, and the hashtag DoGoodTuesdays goes along with that. If you don't know what a hashtag is, don't worry about it. If you do, please search for that via your phone or on your laptop or tablet and share it with as many people as possible. So here's the proposal. On Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, August 18th, for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I challenge you to go to a local restaurant, not a chain, but a locally owned restaurant, and to give your business to them. If you're concerned about COVID-19, lots of restaurants have drive-through or pickup or even delivery options. And what I challenge you to do is to give your business to those local businesses because they are the backbone of our country. Behind every single one of those businesses was a person that had a dream. And they actually took the blood, sweat, and tears and all the effort that they could muster to create that business. And now it's come to fruition. But because of all the things that are going on in our country right now, it's difficult for those in the restaurant business to make ends meet. So we can help close the gap and provide for those who are struggling. I read an article this week that said in Pennsylvania alone, there will most likely be thousands of local restaurants that will close their doors and never reopen again. And to put that into perspective, think about your favorite local restaurant. Some of you may go there every single week. You may know the waiter or waitress by name, or perhaps you know the person that owns it. What if that's one of the restaurants that goes under? And so this Tuesday, we're going to join together as a church and choose whatever restaurant we want and give them our business. And then I have a really big challenge on top of that. You know those stories about people who go and buy, say, a $12 meal, and then they leave like a $400 tip behind? And how that always seems to help somebody who's in a really difficult time, going through a crisis, or just not able to make ends meet? Perhaps you can't provide $400. But what if we, on top of giving our business to local restaurants this Tuesday, August 18th, we also were really generous in our tips? What difference that could make. Paul said in Galatians that we're to look for opportunities to do good. And this is an opportunity right in front of us. I'm a forever dreamer. If you don't believe me, ask my wife. And the problem with dreams is that they're just ideas until there's actually a plan. And so the plan is to overwhelm the local restaurants on Tuesday with goodness, with our business. It's a really practical way that we can provide for those in need. I don't know what God will do with this. I mean, I can certainly envision our church making a small difference in our local communities. Perhaps this idea gets shared and people throughout Erie and Crawford and Warren counties go to their restaurants of choice and make a difference there. But there is the possibility, and only God knows, that this could actually go to the corners of our country. Because of social media today, we're so connected that it takes next to no time for an idea to flourish and multiply and go viral. But no matter what happens through Do Good Tuesdays, we're still called to do good. And this is an opportunity before us where we can do good. In the future, every Tuesday there'll be a new challenge to do something good. It won't always require money, and it won't always have to do with restaurants. Right now I'm looking to put together a team of people who can help create what those Tuesdays will look like. You know, that day in that restaurant, as I waited for my chicken wings to get ready, I heard the story of that waitress. And really, she's the face of tens of thousands, maybe millions of people. Their circumstances may not be identical, but they share this in common. They're having a challenging time right now. What a tremendous opportunity we have. Not everybody may be able to participate in this, but for those who have been working extra hours, or perhaps have been blessed with a great number of resources, or have been saving up for something, this might just be the opportunity that can help save not only a business, but help a person that's struggling. Some may ask, why restaurants? That doesn't sound overly spiritual. Well, people in the restaurant business right now are hurting big time. And if we have the capacity to bless somebody, let's do it. There's a passage in Scripture that Jesus, in his Sermon on the Mount, tells his followers. He says that we're supposed to do our good works that other people might notice them, not for our sake, but ultimately that it may lead them to see God, that they may give praise to our Father in heaven. And this is one simple, very practical way that we can make a difference. In the future, as I mentioned before, I believe there are lots and lots of opportunities for us to do good things every single Tuesday. And then maybe we just get in the habit of doing good so often that we don't even have to think, is it Tuesday? We just do it because we're alive. Perhaps you have dietary restrictions which make it really difficult for you to be able to eat food from a restaurant. Consider surprising someone by getting a meal for that family, maybe a family that's in need. If you're concerned about going out because of COVID-19, maybe you could call the restaurant and order a gift certificate or a gift card to keep them going. You know, if there was ever an excuse to go get some chicken wings or whatever your favorite food might be, it's this. And think about this, if you're the one that cooks in your family, Tuesday, at least this coming Tuesday, can be a day you don't have to cook. But let us remember why we do these things. We do this because God has been good to us. And because of the grace He has shown us and the love that He's given to us, we're called to reach out to other people with His grace and goodness and love, to make the world a better place. We have that opportunity. Let us not grow weary in doing good. Take care, and I can't wait to hear how God uses this on Tuesday. God bless you.